You've booked the bucket list Norwegian cruise.
And now comes the fun part. What am I going to actually do on this vacation?
With just a few hours in each city, you want to make sure every moment counts. We just got back from exploring 4 incredible Norwegian ports: Haugesund, Olden, Stavanger, and Kristiansand.
We walked in the footsteps of the Vikings, rode the world's steepest cable car, and we found a restaurant that was worth the entire trip.
In this video, we're going to share our 4-day itinerary and our pro tips for each city. And be sure to stay till the very end, where we'll give you our final answer to the great debate: when should you book a cruise line excursion, and when should you go it alone? So our first city in Norway was Haugesund, where we learned a lot about the history of Norway and really a lot about King Harald Fairhair.
I really enjoyed that excursion. I love that they give you headphones that give you your own language so that anybody can take the tour.
Yeah, you start at the History Center in Norwegian, and then you go down to a Viking village, which is about a half-mile walk or so.
Right, but it was through a pasture. There were goats on either side. It was a lovely walk, and it was really nice to get off the ship and be able to stretch your legs a little bit.
At the top of the hill is the Olden Historic Church.
Yes.
This was really an interesting look into kind of the merge from old Norway to kind of modern Christian Norway.
Right. This was around when, was it World War II had started, and they talked about how they disguised the church so it didn't get bombed, and it was a neat, more modern history of Norway and the architecture as well.
Really pretty place. I enjoyed going there, but I was a little disappointed that it felt kind of rushed because you have a small amount of time and you have to, do a little more than a mile walk and see 3 different things. What we learned later on is that the hop-on, hop-off bus in Haugesund, it comes here.
It's one of the stops. So if you like to go at your own pace instead of being a part of a big group, you are able to do that as well.
Yeah, and I think you'd probably save a little bit of money, but you might not realize that all of these things exist and to do them.
Right.
After we left here, we went down to the city center.
Right.
The city center was a really kind of cool shopping and eating district.
Lots of stores, lots of little cafes. It was really easy to walk around, and our cruise ship provided transportation back to the cruise ship from city center, so we did not have to Uber or get on a bus.
So for us, Haugesund was a short day. We didn't get to explore quite as much as we might have wanted, but we saw some really interesting history, had some really good food, and got to do a little bit of shopping.
Yeah.
Had worse days.
Absolutely. Very charming place.
The second city we stopped at in Norway was Olden. Now, we weren't actually supposed to be in Olden.
Nope, it was a surprise.
Yeah, we were supposed to be in Nordfjordeid, but unfortunately the weather prevented the ship from docking in Nordfjordeid that day. The cool part of Olden is that there are some really interesting things to do there. The downside is that it's a town of 500 people. So when 5,000 people arrive without any warning at all, not everything is going to be open or ready for a cruise line to come in. Despite the unexpected visit, this is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
It's spectacular. I am so glad that we got to experience that.
Absolutely, and we get to experience it from a really unique vantage point. Because we were in here unexpectedly, we had to look at what was available to us.
Right.
And the thing you do in Olden is the Loen Skylift.
Absolutely. It is, even if you're afraid of heights, you have to do it. I hate climbing to great lengths and dropping or any of that, but I'm so glad I just forced myself out of my comfort zone and did it.
The Loen Skylift is the world's steepest cable car, and it feels like it.
It does, but it's slow and easygoing. There's no herky-jerky or jolts or anything.
And it stays perfectly level.
Right.
You're going up about 1,000 meters over the course of about maybe 8 minutes or so. But when you get to the top, the views are amazing, just stunning. We were able to walk right up to the edge and look over. We were able to hike over several trails that went to different vantage points.
There's a gift shop up there, cafe, so you can have coffee and some pastries from Norway.
Yeah, so despite our initial disappointment in missing Nordfjordeid, I'm so glad we got to Olden.
Yes.
A few things we did learn though. When you're doing the Loen Skylift, if you go early, we were on the first bus out.
Yeah.
There's no lines. Later on,
there is a line.
1 to 2 hour wait to get up. The other thing though, the flip side of this coin, is that the restaurant doesn't open until noon.
And they have a big open window. You can see straight down off the top of the fjord. So that looked like a lot of fun to just sit and enjoy your view.
Yeah, I wish we could have experienced the restaurant. We did look online and see that you needed to have reservations in advance to get in. I don't know what would have happened that day because there wasn't a cruise ship scheduled.
Right.
Once we got down, we caught the shuttle back to Olden. And we thought we would find a restaurant to eat at, but that turned out to be a little bit harder than we planned. Most of the restaurants in town were either closed or were only set up for coffee.
Right.
We did find a food cart. Shout out to Taste of Norway. We were able to get some great traditional waffles.
Yep.
Yeah, we had the brown cheese and one was salmon.
Yep, I had brown cheese and strawberry, which you wouldn't think is a combination that you would pick, but it's one of the best things I've ever tasted.
Once we had eaten, we had seen the world from above, we had a little more time to kill. And we saw this train. And when I say train, I mean like a little shuttle train.
Little putt.
Little
Yeah,
putt train.
It was very cute.
Yeah, it drives down the road, and we decided to grab tickets for it. We thought maybe it would be a hop-on, hop-off, but it's not. What it is about a 1-hour tour.
Yeah, it's like a scenic drive. They do stop at certain points so that you can get out and take pictures.
That's right, and they were beautiful points.
Yes, they knew exactly where to take us.
Yeah, we really enjoyed this part. I know it wasn't super busy because we didn't go on the first runs. We were coming in later in the day.
Yep.
And that meant we were able to get out and really have these places to ourselves to take some beautiful photographs, if I do say so myself, and to really see some things that we just don't see.
Just amazing.
At least in our part of the United States. It was a great way to cap off the visit because it really allowed us to see more of the beauty and to ride the little putt-putt, which is...
Which is always fun.
I always get
just like a train ride.
Yeah, I get such a kick out of doing that. After we got off the train, we went to Mella Guest House. It's the red and white building where you would buy your tickets to the Skylift. You go up a flight of stairs, and it is a restaurant and bar.
Right.
We had some local beers. There is a brewery in Olden.
Right.
Unfortunately, they weren't open.
No, they weren't, but all of their beers were on tap at the cafe or whatever.
Yeah, it's a really cute little restaurant.
Yeah.
You just walk up, sit at the bar, have a few drinks. It was a great way to end our time in Olden. Once we were back on the ship, we got some advice that we should go up to a high deck and look at that bar we were just at.
Yes.
Because as you're leaving, they're waving flags and blasting music and having a little get out of our town party.
It was a nice send-off. It was very sweet.
Yeah, it's a great city. I'm so glad that we got diverted there because it's something we probably wouldn't have seen otherwise.
No, wasn't on the radar, but it's a gem. So for our third day, we were in Stavanger. And as you're pulling into the port, you're seeing all these beautiful little white homes that climb the hill. And that is a historic site.
Yeah, it was really neat to see a look to what Stavanger might have looked like 100 years ago. We decided to spend this day just doing our own thing.
Right, we got hop-on, hop-off bus tickets.
Yeah, we rode the whole loop once to get our bearings. That's usually what we like to do if the timing works out.
And they give you earbuds to plug into your bus so that you choose English or whatever language you speak.
Yeah, it was really cool to hear what was going on because it was so foggy, there was a few places we couldn't see what was going on. But it did clear up. Once we had done the loop once, we decided to hop off the bus at the oil museum or the petroleum museum, and we walked for a bit, discovering that most restaurants didn't open until noon.
Right.
So we found a cute little cafe, we got some coffee, some cheese, and we had kind of a light lunch. Once we left there, we explored a little bit. We were looking to do some shopping. We eventually found the bus again.
Yes.
Because we wanted to see the Swords and Rock Monument. This is 3 giant bronze swords embedded in stone to celebrate the victory of King Harald Fairhair, uniting all of Norway under a single crown. To get there, you take the bus and it drops you off probably a half-mile away from the monument.
Yeah, there's a bit of a walk.
Yeah, it's about a 10-minute walk, and if you want to catch the next bus, that gives you about 10 minutes at the Swords because the buses go on a 30-minute schedule. So just make sure that you're either going to hustle or just plan to stay there a while. There's plenty to do. There's picnic tables and room for the kids to run.
Yep, and there's a view of the water in front of you, and so you can look out and see the birds. And
yeah, it's really a pretty overlook. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So we got back on the bus and we got back to the main port area. And around the ports, there's all kinds of shopping and all kinds of restaurants and bars.
Right, and by this time, they're all open.
Yeah, and we wanted to really get the full experience by visiting all of them, or at least a couple.
We did hit a couple. We got an apple cake at one and a beer, and then we found a cute little bar and got some aquavit.
It was interesting how many themes there were. There was like a Western bar and a very traditional bar.
Yeah, we were in a Mexican restaurant at one point.
Yeah, it's definitely a touristy area. It's meant to give you a lot to do, but that's a great thing. It has a lot to do. If you just want to get off the ship and walk around the port, you're going to find a lot of fun things to do in Stavanger after noon.
Yes.
Our fourth and final stop in Norway was in Kristiansand. We got off the ship and we walked to town. It's about a 10 or 15 minute walk. You'll pass some shops, and on the way you'll actually pass another little toot-toot train.
Yes.
What we didn't know is that this train actually takes you to the city center. It's just out and back between the port and city center.
Right.
But it does a nice 20-minute or so tour. If you're going to be getting off the boat in Kristiansand and you don't have plans, get on this train, ride it on one of the loops, and then take it to the city center, and now you're right where you need to be.
Right.
After our walk-in, we got some coffee at a local coffee shop. We found a bakery and got this giant almond baked pastry. It was fantastic.
It was.
And then we saw that train again and we jumped on it.
Right.
And this is where we got to take the tour. On the tour, we saw a few things. One of them was the Kristiansand Cathedral. So we got back up there on foot. It was a pretty quick walk, and we took some photos. Then we just walked the city, and we were killing some time before what for me was a highlight of the trip.
Oh, absolutely.
We were looking for a place to have lunch, and I actually went on Reddit and I started looking for like the best places to eat in Kristiansand. And I found this recommendation kept coming up over and over again. And it's for a restaurant named Smagenbehag. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's spelled exactly how I said it. Some traditional Norwegian cuisine. We wanted local beers. We were hoping it would be a little upscale, but also casual.
Yeah, and it was. It was very comfortable.
The meal took about 2 hours.
Yeah, so it was very low and slow, but worth it.
So they have an a la carte and a price fix menu. And we did the prefix menu, but we also a la carted a little bit of lefse.
Yes.
The food was fantastic.
It really was.
The beer was fantastic.
Yeah.
The wine room was fantastic. It's such a cool place.
It is.
It's an old dormitory or gymnasium.
It was a gymnasium.
Yeah, and they've converted it into this amazing space.
And they kept all the wood though, so it's just beautiful in there.
So if you're looking for a memorable meal in Norway and you're going to be in Stavanger, this is a place you need to check out.
Absolutely.
It is a fantastic menu. The service was amazing, and the location is perfect for the downtown area.
Yeah.
After lunch, we walked down to the harbor area, which is about 2 blocks away, and we got on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Love Ferris
Because you can
wheels.
see the whole city from the top.
It's an amazing way to see the city. And the sea.
Yes.
It looked out both ways.
Yep, there's a big ship out in the harbor.
Right next to the Ferris wheel is the Kristiansand Home Fortress.
Yes.
We were able to go in and walk around for a few minutes before a wedding was starting.
There was a wedding that
we
day.
got not kicked out, but
We got the gist of it, though.
Yeah, you got to see it. Got to touch the cannons. It's a pretty cool area, and it's free. You just walk right in. So definitely stop in there. And from there, we walked back along the harbor through the park to the ship.
Yep.
Okay, so we took you through all 4 cities and everything we did. Now, at the beginning of the video, we promised we'd give you our final verdict on booking cruise excursions versus exploring on your own in Norway.
Right. I feel our experience in Haugesund really sealed it for us. We enjoyed that experience quite a bit, but we would have rather gone at our own pace. And I feel like paying the premium for the excursion wasn't worth it for us.
Yeah, we could have gotten the same thing with the hop-on, hop-off bus if we'd have just done a little bit more research ahead of time. But that strategy doesn't work everywhere, and Olden is a really good example of this.
Right.
So if you don't have a plan for the Loen Skylift or another specific activity, you could find yourself without that much to do in a small town. So our number 1 tip is this. For most Norwegian ports, exploring on your own gives you the freedom and could save you some money. But for a tiny port like Olden, you should probably have a plan, and booking an excursion through the cruise might be your best bet. And that is our complete guide to 4 amazing days in 4 Norwegian cruise ports.
We hope this helped you plan your own vacation. And the big question is, what are you most excited to see?
Yeah, let us know your pick in the comments below. We love reading about your travel plans. And hey, if you found this video helpful, the best way to say thanks is by giving it a quick thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and it lets us know that this is information that you're looking for and that you'd like us to share more of it. We have some more adventures coming, and we're really excited to share those as well. So thanks for watching, and bye!